Okay, in this segment, if you recall, in the last session, we added in at the user's request the variable on the output side for the car model. In other words, when we first did this, either the user forgot to tell us or they have updated what they want. The car model is not in the output list. And we can add that in here. I'm going to put it ahead of the messages for just a preference of mine. Car model, and that will be regurgitated, if you will. It's input. It's also going to be output. Okay, that's one place where a modification like this would happen on the output side. The other is down in the output statement of the pseudocode, where we were originally just outputting total car price. Now we're going to output the car model as well. You could add this just to the end of it, but my being a stickler for things, it does come out just ahead of it in this output line. It really doesn't matter that much, but I'm going to put it ahead of total car price. And there, now we have fixed the pseudocode and the output list. Everything else remains the same for this slight change. By the way, if this had come up, as I've said before, if this had come up in VBPass, this is another module in your program, and it looks like this. It is not where you put your code. If it comes up originally like this, you now should know to go to Forms, Lab Form, click on Lab Form, and then this icon will get you to the code window for your code. You do not want to modify VBPass, that module. You want to modify Lab Form. So in here, we have our statements that we put before. Everything is as it was. And we're ready to run the test. So to do that, we come up to this, or we can come up to this run icon and run it. We have a screen. That's good so far. We're going to say run lab, and we get an expected procedure not variable for this right here. So I'm going to say OK. We're going to have to fix this. We're now in a pause mode. We're not in the original data entry mode where we entered in the code. We're not in a run mode. We're in between in what they call a pause mode. So I'm going to definitely stop the program by clicking on this icon. That'll throw us back into this looking at the lab form itself, but we want the code. So we're going to go back to this icon to get back there. Now, when we come up to that point, it was right here where that problem occurred. And it looks like I forgot to put in the equal sign. So we're going to put an equal sign in between here. Also, as I recall, price should be uppercase. But I'm wondering if that's from the dim statement. Yeah, notice that when I take the cursor away, extra price goes back to lowercase. And that can only be fixed up here in the dim statement. I'll change it up here, and then it will automatically be changed down here as well, or there. As soon as I put the cursor on the line, it changes it. And now we've got it equal to where we forgot the equal sign before. So let's try again and see if now it will work. And we do get, at least this far, we get it asking for the model of the car. Now our first test is for Pluto. And sunroof, yes. And leather seats, yes. And yes, and yes, but no for a convertible. And you're receiving a special package price for the sunroof, leather seats, etc. Saves you $400, and the price, it says, is $21,799.96, and that's exactly what was on the document. If you go back and refer to the document on the handout for this, that's what it said it should be. So we're going to do the second test now and put in asteroid and enter a Y. And let's see, for sunroof, yes, we're going to have a sunroof here. We're going to have 3 no's. This is the test to see if the convertible and sunroof, it catches the combination. And yes, it did. Convertibles do not come with a sunroof, so that seemed to work. So now we're going to do the third test, which is pulsar, and then a yes for sunroof, a no for leather seats, 2 yeses, and a no for convertible, so we avoid that error this time. Total price for the pulsar, including extras, which you want, is, it says, $32,799.93. Unfortunately, the value should be, on our test plan, $28,999.97. So there's something wrong right here. Now, the fact that this one was correct and the second one was wrong is some evidence to point to a certain problem that I'll show you in just a second. But we're going to bring this down and go try to fix that. Okay, so we're back here. We go to lab form, back to the code. And the problem is that some of the money from the first test is coming in and messing up the third test. So, and that's coming in because of extra price. Extra price is solved equal to itself plus a new amount. And nowhere in our code had we reset extra price to for the next test, and that's basically the problem. That can be seen, by the way, in your logic. And many problems, logic problems, can be solved here first before you go to physical code. Sometimes it's more difficult to see logic problems and resolve them in the physical code. It's much easier to do it in the pseudocode. So I'm going to come in here and see that, yes, extra price is being set up, but between tests, when we come in for the next test, extra price will still be equal to the value that it was in the first test, and that's going to be added to instead of, it should start at 0 each time. And that's basically how we're going to fix this, is that when we get right here, for instance, we can set extra price equal to 0 to start out with. So if we input the values and the sunroof and convertible is not the case, they're both not, we come into the else, first thing we do is set extra price to 0, and then we start in, figure out the base price, and then when we get here, it's going to be extra price equal to 0 plus. Somewhere in here it's going to be starting out at 0. So to make that change in our code, at the same place, because you want these two solutions, the physical and logical, to always be in sync, we're going to add that statement right here where we added it in the pseudocode. So now that extra price should start out at 0. And okay, we're ready to test again. So here we go. Pluto. Sunroof. Custom speakers, and no for the convertible, and we get the right answer, $21,799.96, and we say $400 message coming out. Second test is for asteroid, and yes for sunroof. No for leather seats, and a no for custom speakers and retractable child seat, and a yes though for convertibles, so that we get the convertibles not come with sunroof message. That having been tested, so in other words, the things that were working before are still working. That's good to find out. And then the third test is for pulsar. And yes for sunroof, no for leather seats, a yes, and a yes for the next two, and a no for convertible. And we get a price of, for a pulsar, $28,999.97. That's okay. And our final test is for asteroid again. And no for a sunroof, no for all of them, in fact, and we come out with a base price of $19,000 for the asteroid, which is correct. So now that we've got this, we might as well copy it, paste it to the screen. Again, the process for doing that is to hold down while this window has focus, which it does since we've been using it. Hold down the Alt key and press the print screen key. Then nothing happens on this screen, but if you go to the Word document and bring that back up, I'm going to have to bring this down before I can do that. So bring up the Word document and come down to Captured Output Screen and find the cursor, place the cursor where you want it to be, and paste. We get the captured screen. We do not get the background, the desktop, and it's easier to read because it's now larger than it would be if you had captured the entire desktop. Alright, now the last thing to do would be the VBA code. That's pretty easy. We go back to Lab Form, Code Window, we go to the top, we start at Warning. The reason I want you to start at Warning at the very first line is that I want anything left out so that I can see what you've done. Okay? Just take everything there, right-click, copy, and then go to your Word document and find the right location for it and paste. Okay, this is the document that you would then send in. It has the output list, input list, the pseudocode. It has the test plan. It has the VBA code, and it has the captured screen print of your test plan, and it also has the macro attached to this. Very important that the macro, this document, be the document that has the macro in it in case I need to look at the macro. Okay, one last thing that some people keep asking me about is how do I get the money to come out with dollars, dollar sign, and so forth. So to do that, you go back into your code window for Lab Form, and for instance for total price here, there's a money function, and this is described in the VBA Explain Part 2. Just do a search for money and it will have it there. And you place what you want, the currency data variable name that you want to express as money. It has to be a currency data type. And use money on that, and then you'll get that to come out. So if we were to run the test now for the last one, asteroid, and then all of the other ones are no. You notice that it's now got a dollar sign, a comma, and it's written out this way. So if you want to do that, it's not a requirement this term, but some people like to be able to do that. Okay, one more thing. This is an example of an error that wasn't caught in testing, and because the testing wasn't thorough enough, and we were not testing for case of entry. But I just wanted to show you something that could happen that would slip by and might even slip by my eyes when I go to grade it. If sunroof, this is the code we had, if sunroof equal y, sunroof equal lowercase y, and leather seats equal uppercase y, and leather seats equal lowercase y, and custom speakers equal uppercase y, or it should be custom speakers equal lowercase y, but in fact it says leather seats. So this should have been custom, and some of you may have seen this error all along, speakers, when I first made it, equal to lowercase y. That change being put in will not make any change or difference to our test plan because our test plan didn't test for case. And I'm not really asking you to test for case this term. If you'd coded something like this and sent it in and I caught it, I probably wouldn't take off any points for it. I would just point it out to you. Okay, and that finishes this video.